most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real-world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
All right, welcome back, race fans. The Dirt Racing Network's live coverage of the Hales Corners Speedway Sim Racing Series. Pro late models on tap for you. Cedar Lake, the scene of the crime, round number 1. Season number 2 for these guys. Joining me for the late model portion of the show, as has been the case over the last few weeks of season number 1, Zach Krieger. Welcome in, Zach.
Thank you for having me to be back for the full season this time.
Yeah, guys, put on a pretty good show down there for the street stocks a little while ago, so they're going to crank the horsepower up, reshape the cars just a bit, and put them back out here. Konjerski quick in practice, so picking up right where he left off when he crawled out of that street stock.
Yeah, he's very much on top of it right away. It's going to be interesting to see if he can potentially do the clean sweep tonight. A lot of other fast guys in this series grid. You have to mention reigning champion Andy Gross is here. You got guys like Reed Rundle, Peter Brees, Jason Enoch, a lot of big names here, and it's going to be a very good season I can expect.
A couple of new names coming in as well, and Mr. Skinzalewski, not a great show in the street stock, but I think maybe that's not his forte, and he may put a little bit of a show on here in the late model that may be more up to his speed. But like you said, all the same old names. These guys having a great start to the season, especially in the street stocks. I see that they expanded the field. A couple of cars will be 22 starting the feature, and that gives a couple of extra guys an opportunity to make the show that last season weren't scoring any points.
Yeah, it's very helpful. Of course, I luckily made it into the feature of the street stocks, but pretty much the skin of my teeth. So it was kind of nice being able to having that extra leeway. Yeah, it's bigger fields are going to mean more racing up and down the track. It's going to be a very interesting. It's going to be very fun to see, and hopefully it is all for the better.
Yeah, ready to get round number 1 of season number 2 here. Show number 2 for these guys on the road here, but we got a little business we got to do first. Got to go down to public address and get our national anthem and our invocation out of the way before we get going this evening. So we are going to do that. When we come back, qualifying will be on the track.
We take you down onto the track for our opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Please remove your hats.
And now, please welcome Pastor Sam Foley from Port Orange, Florida, to deliver tonight's invocation.
Father, we ask today that you protect and bless those who participate in this race. May they use good sportsmanship and respect for each other. And we'll thank you and praise you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous flight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, I want to thank Mr. and Mr. Foley for our invocation. International anthem. Drivers ready to crawl in the cars, qualifying about to be on track. 22 cars now as Caden Carlson has joined the server. We'll try to watch a few of these guys out here. Right now, David Kinjerski heading out on to the track in that 15 machine. We'll watch him put his qualifying effort together, see where he comes out. We'll jump back and forth between different drivers. See Andy Gross making his way onto the track already.
It's going to be interesting to see what lap times guys are putting in. Of course, these cars about 3 seconds or so faster than the street stocks, so it's going to be interesting to see how the track wears out throughout the running of the feature or the heats, then the B main, and then the feature. It's going to be, the track definitely changed a lot during the street stocks, and I believe it'll probably change a lot during these pro late models.
Yeah, and right where that guy left off at the end of last season, picking up that big hardware, Andy Gross puts that thing on the top of the pylon. Quick qualifier right now, 13.653 seconds. J.J. Schilling, Nick Sobiak. Schilling at 6.65 and Sobiak at 6.96. The only drivers under the 13.7 time bracket. Gross, Schilling, and Sobiak. Duggar was fourth. Peter Brees. Brees picking things up a little bit. Last season started off pretty rough for that 74 car. He was in the 8 machine last season, has moved to the 74, and towards the end of the season he picked up a feature win, and since then his performance has been pretty good on the track. Seen him in a few other places. And that 74 car could be a contender here just about every week in these series. Kinjerski, winner from the street stock race, qualifies in position number 6, 13.732 seconds. I don't know why I'm going to put these guys on 17-second laps. This track ain't big enough for that for sure. 21 of the 22 cars have taken time right now. Jim Butcher, the only car to not take time. So we'll see if Mr. Butcher indeed comes out and does anything otherwise. Everybody's pretty much already in the books here.
Yeah, a lot of guys keeping time relatively close to the top. Of course, the slowest time currently is going to be a 14.163 for Tony Ichkowski, and that's only just barely half a second to our leader Andy Gross, who's currently sitting on top with 13.653. So the field all very bundled up and all sort of at the same time. It's going to make for a lot of good heat racing and a lot of good B-man, and hopefully the good feature, as they all will sort of be at the same pace.
Yeah, we'll see with the fixed setup how close these guys actually stay. I know the heat races in the street stocks were very close. Pretty much each one, the top 4 or 5 cars, they were all pretty tight with each other, nose to tail, almost under a blanket. So we'll see if these pro late models, a new car for these guys this season. They were in the limited, which is a lot smaller, more of a crate style motor. These bigger cars, a little more horsepower, and some of the guys in the between seasons during the practice sessions not as fond as they were, but I think they got very comfortable in the limited, and so changing things up just a little bit to put new things in play for the series is a great idea for the league operators, and they chose to go up a class, and we're going to see what that does as qualifying is now ended, and we are ready to put our first heat race out for round number 1, season number 2 for these guys. Got 8 cars scheduled to be in heat number 1. I think we're going to have 8, 7, and 7, if I can do math at all. And I'm not saying that I can. Just saying I can think about things. On the pole for heat race number 1, the Shark RC car bodies, number 112 from Menominee Falls, Wisconsin, Chris Johnson. And on his outside in the 40, Bud Reidner. Second row on the inside, the 11 car of Cole Duggar. And on his outside, another Shark RC Bodies machine. That is the 14 car from Hartford, Wisconsin, of Andy Gross, last season's champion. Third row on the inside, and the CJR Pride of Tosa, number 64 from Wauwatosa, Wisconsin, Randy Brunner. On the outside of him, in that 99 machine, going to be Brandon Hull. Your fourth and final row on the inside, the 28 car of Tony Brent, and scheduled to be there, but not on the track, the 117 of Jim Butcher. So maybe only 21 cars. And I think everybody's going to make the feature anyway, but we're going to go green out of 4 this time. 4-car invert for your heats. And that puts your quick qualifier outside row number 2. We'll see how long it takes for that 14 car to find his way to the front. He is usually very, very quick on the starts and usually doesn't waste a whole lot of time going forward.
Definitely, as the pace truck pulls off, and we will have a green flag in the air as they head into turn 1. The 40 car of Bud Reidner got a way better start than the 112 of Chris Johnson. He is going to just clear him on the back stretch, going in to 2 and 3. But Johnson's going to come right back at him. It's just contact further back in the pack. They're going to go 3 wide, but we're going to keep focus up here as Bud Reidner takes the lead after lap 1.
Brandon Hull, the 99 car, threw it deep into turns 1 and 2, and I thought he was going to go up and meet the fence, but he got that 99 car to hook up. He's sitting in third right now in front of Andy Gross. It is still Reidner, Johnson, Hull, then Gross and Duggar. It's your top 5 transfer directly to the feature. I think tonight everybody's going to go through anyway, so it's not going to really matter, but Andy Gross making a move on the bottom. Got around Hull, now working around Reidner as Johnson got around Reidner as well as we come to the end of lap number 4 with Chris Johnson in the lead.
Andy Gross just threw his nose coming in there and took second place from Bud Reidner. He tried to potentially get a little challenge there on Chris Johnson, but it wasn't meant to be, as they're going to head through now out of 4. Johnson with a sizable gap for these cars as Gross makes a little lunge there, can't get it done quite. He has Johnson with this and a decent gap to say the least currently to the cars as they head on the lap 7 here. 4 laps to go.
Yeah, Johnson able to keep the car pinned middle down, going through the corners, and every time he moves up about a half a car width, Gross sees that and he really tries to drive in there deep, but he's got to slam on the brakes to get the 114 car back underneath him. The hole on the entry to turn 1 starting to become a player in this thing. It is really upsetting these cars going in. There goes Gross again. Really drives it deep. Got to jump on the brakes, stay out of the gas, or he'll slide right into Johnson, and that opens the gap. Johnson, Gross, Reidner, Duggar, and Brunner, your top 5 as we're getting ready to pick up the white flag in heat race number 1.
Indeed, like you said, white flag is going to see interesting to see what Gross does. As you can see, heading into turn 1, everybody's getting still close together. It's going to be interesting. Will Gross go for a move here on Johnson on the inside? It does not seem like he does because Johnson protected. Chris Johnson in the 112 is going to win Heat 1, followed by the 14 of Andy Gross, the 40 of Bud Reidner, 123 of Cole Duggar, 64 of Randy Brunner, 20 of Troy Brent, with a few more following them.
All right, Heat 2. Putting them out here on the grid, on the pole, the GB Restoration and Repair number 77 from East Troy, Wisconsin, Gary Budzine. On the outside, him in the 75 machine, that is the iRacing sponsored late model of James Fletcher. Row 2, inside, the Scribbled Up Car Wash Black Flag Racing number 74 out of Waterford, Wisconsin, Peter Breeson on his outside. And that Herb knockoff at his JJ Schilling. Third row on the inside, going to be the 66 car of Jason Enoch, and his outside, the 46 of John Brunner. And your car tagging the back of the field, the 29 of Caden Carlson. So Johnson able to hold off Gross in heat number 1, and that is interesting as we get ready to move those cars into the feature. Can Chris Johnson start the season off with a statement? Did not have too many statements to make last season, as I recall. A lot of bad luck for that 112 machine, but new skin, maybe a little bit of new luck, and a whole new season.
Definitely. It's going to be fun to see who the contenders in these Pro Late models are as they're going to head to the start. Green flag is out. They're going to head into turn 1. Gary Budzine with that lead so far, followed closely by James Fletcher. Fletcher's going to go for a move here around the outside. I think it was maybe perhaps a little jump start from Budzine potentially. Of course, Budzine now running these events this year, or this season. As currently, just Fletcher out in front, one of the new guys, one of the new names. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do this season.
Yeah. Peter Brees all over the back of the 77 machine as Budzine gave the lead away. He jumped the start, and the rule is you need to give the spot back. So he took his medicine there, but now he's got to challenge Peter Brees, that 74 car. And Brees, like I was saying in the opening, a lot more speed into that driver now than there was early in the season. Last season, he came on strong at the end, and he's picking up pretty good right here to start off season 2, running third in this heat. J.J. Schilling in fourth, and then Caden Carlson started 7th on the field. He's running 5th as we are coming to the halfway point of heat number 2.
Going through the order with Caden Carlson in 5th place, there was a little contact near the end of around lap 3, start of lap 4 going into 1. A few cars got really out of whack, and it kind of stacked up pretty much for 3rd place in both. So that's why there's a sizable gap between 4th and 5th, as they do head now lap 7 here, as all the cars make their way through the first set of corners. Fletcher, Budzine, Brees, Schilling, Carlson, Brunner, Enoch is going to round out your race so far.
Yeah, down to 3 to go. Fletcher still holding on to about a half a second lead over Budzine. Peter Brees another little over half a second back of Budzine, but J.J. Schilling started to close the gap and then kind of leveled off. So the top 4 pretty comfortable in their positions right now. Caden Carlson being run down a little bit by John Brunner, but I don't think there's enough time unless there's a big mistake out of that 12 machine. He will take one of the top 5 transfer spots. But the final lap underway, and James Fletcher, once he got the lead given back to him by Gary Budzine, he took it the rest of the way. He picks up the checkered flag. Heat race number 2, Budzine, Brees, Schilling, and Carlson, your top 5. Brunner and Enoch rounding that field out.
A good job by James Fletcher. Like I said, one of the newer guys to the league. Definitely going to put his name out there as being one of the ones to watch this season.
Cars already gridding for heat race number 3, and on the pole, the Buddies Racing Equipment TDC race team number 43 from Oxford, Michigan, Reed Rundle. And on his outside from Oak Creek, Wisconsin, in the Pinkala Auto Solutions, number 41 is Ryan Fisher. Your second row on the inside, Skis Graphics number 15 of David Kinjerski, won into the street stocks a little while ago. And his outside, the RLV Faster Motors VLR number 23 from Big Bend, Wisconsin, Nick Sobiek. Third row on the inside, the Buddies Racing Equipment I-41 Raceway, number 17 out of Slinger, Wisconsin, Dean Burnt. And on his outside, in that 5 machine, going to be Colin Skinzalewski. Tony Itzkowski now gridding on the back row. He's got the Black Flag Racing, a number 10 out of West Allis, Wisconsin. He makes up your final row all by himself. So another 7 cars, another 10 laps. Final heat race of the night. Rolling off from the grid. Mr. Rundle, new paint, maybe trying to change his luck this season a little bit. Come home second in the points last season to Andy Gross.
I think with the new season, some new paints had come in, of course. Make your guys stand out a little more. Of course, a lot of these guys coming in with new schemes or ones that may be slightly altered. I think they all look good, though. As they will head through turn 2 now, as the lights are off on the pace truck. We will be going green this lap. The pack starts to tighten themselves up. Be interesting to see what Nick Sobiek or any of these guys will be able to do. Pace truck is away. We are racing with the green flag. They all start to head to turn 1.
Everybody stayed pretty tight side by side. I saw the 5 car.
Yep.
It looked like he was going to leave the track, but then at the last second, the left turn, and he hits the tires up there. So that car heavily damaged, but still on track right now. Rundle, Fisher, Sobiek, and Kinjerski, your top 4. Dean Burnt here into the 17 car, running in that 5th spot. But the battle is for second. Fisher and Sobiak. And Sobiak got the car way out of shape. I think maybe a little reaction to Fisher coming up the hill, and that might be exactly what Fisher wanted. So he could have a little breathing room, maybe focus on trying to chase that 43 car in front of him down.
Exactly, of course. Though I think this is what Reed Rundle want to have happen with Ryan Fisher, of course, getting now pushed back a little as he might come under pressure here a little bit from Konjerski and Sobiak. Of course, two very fast guys in this car. They all start to keep clean. There's a little contact for fourth and third place between Konjerski and Sobiak. Keep it straight though, and now Fisher has a little breathing room forward and back as they will make contact. It was a big slide there from David Konjerski. Got together with Fisher and Sobiak. They both kept it straight, and Konjerski is going to lose out that position to Dean Byrne. But he's going to try to take it around the outside here through turn 2, and he might just get it.
Yeah, big slide job out of the 15 car. Saw it when he went down in the corner. Wasn't really able to make that thing stick and keep the car straight, so a lot of contact. He loses a lot of distance to these guys. He's going to let Fisher and Sobiak get at each other here for a little bit. Reed Rundle 1.5 seconds out in front with 2 laps to go. Best battle on the track right now for second and third. Ryan Fisher, the 41 car, the 23 of Nick Sobiak going at each other. Here comes the slider. Sobiak put the left front up on the infield tires. Nothing doing. Easy crossover for Fisher. So we're going to come out of 2, and they're going to get side by side again. Contact on the left rear corner of the 41 car. Rundle's going to win it. Then it'll be Fisher, Sobiak, Konjerski, Dean Byrne, and Tony Ichkowski. Colin Skinzalewski took the 5 car into the pits early in this one after collecting himself into the tires there on the pit exit. So, consolation race. I think this is really more of a formality than anything. So we've got 7 cars scheduled to be in it. Yeah, I think all 7 of them transfer, don't they?
Yes, it's going to be 7 cars transfer, so this is pretty much going to be a fight for track position at the green flag of the feature.
Yep, it'll be Skinzalewski and Enoch in row 1, row 2, Hull and Ichkowski. John Brunner and Tony Brent in row 3, and Jim Butcher will line up on the back. Only car I'm not seeing right now, Ichkowski, and he just came off the track, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I want to say so. Yes, he did. He just off P6, so he should be here starting in the 4th position.
Oh, there he is.
There he is.
So the formality of the B-Main, really just racing for your starting position in the feature. You're in the show. A few extra laps, get these guys a little more acclimated to the racing surface in the car, the way it's going to handle out there as the track starts to go away.
Definitely, of course, track change is going to play a big factor in this race. Of course, the feature being 25 laps, this race being 12 laps, track might start to change near the end. Interesting to see what lines these guys take trying to deal with that, as they are going to head into turn 1. The lights off on the pace car. We will be going green this time by.
All right.
As they head through turn 4. Now green flag is out. The B main is going to be underway, with the 5 car getting out quickly. That 66 though looking dangerous as he goes low instantly. That's going to be Jason Enoch, someone we did not see in the street stocks if I'm not mistaken. He is going to take this lead at the end of lap 1.
A lot of contact. The 5 car way out of shape. Never really got that thing under him the rest of that lap. He's still having problems as he whacked the wall out of turn 2. Already fallen to 5th with Enoch out in front. Hull 2nd. Tony Brent in 3rd. Tony Ichkowski. Then you've got that 5 car all bent up. Still a little bit probably from the previous incident, but more contact out here in this one. He's all over Ichkowski now. That's for 4th. Not this time. He's going to go up on the fence to keep the car going, but he is going to fall all the way to 6th. As we're going to head back to the front and watch Enoch, Hull, and Tony Brent right here, is Hull starting to close in just a little bit on Enoch, who made a great move to pick up the lead on lap number 1.
Definitely. Of course, Enoch not gonna say he was awarded the lead, but he did the most to get past the 5-car early, and of course Hull is going to slide in that second place after that first lap, and Hull is just slowly starting to touch the wall there a little bit. He started to slowly bring in Enoch, and he's going to try to take a move here on the bottom. It's not going to stick quite yet. But as we hit the halfway lap, it's going to be interesting to see if Hull has anything left or going to have anything for Jason Enoch at all. Or will Tony Brent start to play a factor, because he is in that 3rd spot. He has started to pull a bit closer through the corners, and this might be a 3-way battle for the lead, potentially.
Everybody trying to make the track just a little bit wider. Enoch hit the fence so far a couple of times. I've seen Hull whack it 2 or 3 times. Haven't really noticed much out of Tony Brent's car, but I do think the right rear corner is folded in just a bit on the 28 machine. As everybody right now is starting to look for different lines. They need the help in the feature for sure. And just seeing what they can get during the B main. We're down under 3 to go. Jim Butcher's still 4th. Ichkowski, Brunner, and then Skinzalewski has taken that 5-car to the work area once again, but we've got 2 to go for Jason Enoch out in front in the B main.
As Enoch to make his way here through 3 and 4, he will see the white flag with 1 lap to go. Does Hull have anything for Jason Enoch down this backstretch? Hull going a little high, trying to get a good runoff. Of course, it would take a big mistake from Enoch for Hull to get there. It's going to be Jason Enoch who takes the victory in the Constellation B main, followed by Hull, Brent, Butcher, Ichkowski, Brunner, and Skinzalewski.
So, starting grid set, feature about to get underway. Everybody that made it into the server tonight is going to get to start. So we'll take a look at the starting lineup. Cole Duggar will be on the pole with Nick Sobiek to his outside. Your second row, Peter Brees and Bud Reidner. Ryan Fisher and Gary Budzine in row 3. Andy Gross next to Reed Rundle in row 4. Your fifth row, Fletcher and Johnson. Row 6, J.J. Schilling and David Kinzerski. Your 7th row, Randy Brunner and Caden Carlson. Row 8, Dean Burnt and Jason Enoch. Brendan Hull and Tony Brent in row number 9. And your 10th row, Jim Butcher alongside Tony Ichkowski. John Brunner will start inside row 11 with Colin Skinzalewski on the outside of him. And nobody behind that. That was your final row. All 22 cars have made their way out onto the grid. 25 laps for your feature. Caution laps not going to count.
The first race in the first feature race, in these Dirt Pro late models. If you're just joining us, welcome to the feature of the Hales Corners Speedway Sim Racing League.
The discount shoptowels.com Pro Late Model Series.
Yep, as they will head down into the first 2 corners. Lights off on the pace truck. All these 21 guys ready to see that green flag drop and ready to see who will go where throughout this race. As the pace truck pulls off, it is going to be showtime in the late model series. We are underway. Green flag, as it's going to be Cole Duggar who leads into turn 1, followed by the 23 of Nick Sobiek.
A whole bunch of contact back there. Fisher, I think he got into Brees a little bit. They're 3 wide behind that. That's about 6th on back. Rundle in between Gross and Budzine. Andy Gross on the bottom of the 14 car. Not able to get past Budzine just yet. Oh, Peter Brees out of shape. That's going to cause a big stack up. A lot of guys going to get slowed down here. Plenty of positions going to change hands in this one. Still Sobiek and Duggar 1, 2, then Reidner 3rd. Budzine in 4th, Ryan Fisher and Reed Rundle 5th and 6th. They're sorting it out behind that. Gross has 7th. Then it's 3 wide behind them. Brees, Schilling, and Johnson through your top 10 at the moment. We've completed 4, and we're about to get our first caution right here. Chris Johnson.
Caution is out. Caution is out.
As the 112 car got into the back of, and man, I don't know. I want to say that could have been Schilling, but I'm not positive till we get the rewind. It was not. It was Peter Brees he got into. Right here in 1 and 2. And that unloaded the rear end of the 112 car. He gets collected by Brandon Hull. And up, over, and around they go. So we'll see who has what damage and where these guys are going to get lined back up here. But we got 4 in the books quickly. Pretty wild for that first 4 laps.
Definitely. It was a very fun and fast 4 laps. I think if I'm hearing right on the radio chatter, Peter Brees said the car is going to be okay. He's going to be able to get back out on track, luckily, and stay in it. As that incident, of course, is to shake the field up a little bit, takes out a few of the faster guys, but still a lot of fast guys up at the front.
Yep, Sobiak, Duggar, Reidner, Budzine, Rundle, your top 5, and then Fisher, Gross, Brees, Schilling, and Johnson in the top 10 right now, as everybody's going to double up. So lights will go off on the pace truck. We're going to get ready to go green again with 21 laps remaining.
You said 21 laps remaining, heading onto the front stretch. Sobiak goes.
Green flag.
Green flag is out. Nick Sobiak got the jump there in the lead, and that's really going to help him as him and Duggar start to pull away already. Stacks up in the back of the pack all over the place. Everybody keeps it straight, though. 1 car high into the wall.
Oh, spinner on the front stretch. Ryan Fisher. Ryan Fisher got turned around there. And I don't know who he was on the nose of. I want to say that was J.J. Schilling. That's why I brought J.J. into it. Fisher came across the track and right on the nose of the 1 car. He gets himself turned around, then gets clobbered. Rolled the 41 car a couple of times. We'll see what that's done for his suspension. Looks like the right front might be a little bit towed out, but he may be able to drive the car. Find out where he's going to be in relation to the rest of the field. I'm sure he's going to lose a couple of spots in that exchange. It looks like he's going to line up in between Budzine and Brees here.
Schilling's was just sent to the back for it. Causing the incident, he took it, which is...
Well, most leagues have a rule that you're responsible for the bumper of the car in front of you, and if I had to guess, I would say that is probably what they are saying, is he got up underneath that car and turned around the 41 of Ryan Fisher, and he turned him around. So 6 in the books. Not much really changed at the front. Front 5, front 6 cars here. Pretty good battle right there. A lot of contact being made. We're going to go back to the green flag with 19 laps to go here.
It's going to be pace truck lights will go out here. The green flag is going to come out here heading into turn 1, 2.
Yeah, side by side. And Sobiak's going to have it off the top. Duggar's going to follow in second now. Reed Rundle up to third. Andy Gross settles into fourth, and caution once again. James Fletcher? Fletcher backwards over here in the middle of the backstretch? Rough start to get a lot of contact. He and Ichkowski made contact on the front stretch. Then again in turn 2, and then the 117 of Butcher and the 112 of Johnson. And, that was inevitable. Once the contact started, the car got out of shape. He couldn't gather it back up. It's just kind of inevitable. Something bad is going to happen on such a narrow straightaway because the corners are big and wide, but this track narrows up pretty good on the front and back stretch. And when everybody's funneling in together, a little bit of contact goes a long ways.
Definitely, and some news here currently. The restarts will be going to single file now, so Sobiak will lead it by himself on his own row. Everybody backs will also be single file as we gonna be getting ready to go green. I don't think that this lap, but next lap potentially. this lap, actually.
Yeah, lights are off on the pace truck. Everybody's single file here, and a start and 2 restarts in the first 7 laps, and you've got to do something to get these guys to settle down a little bit. So a single file restart, the way to go. So we wait on Nick Sobiak to find the throttle pedal. There he does in turn 4, green flag in the air. Back underway. Still 18 laps to go.
And back in that 4th-ish area, Bud Reidner was caught sleeping on the start. If you guys had to jump to the high and the low side to eventually potentially avoid that wreck, because we're going to have one car on the wall on the top. That's going to keep everybody straight, though. They all start to fall back into where they were, heading through the track.
Yeah, Reiner has got his hands full. Gross is there. He finds the fence. Gross goes by now. Budzine's going to go by. Everybody's going by as Reiner took the car out of the track and into the pits. I think he's going to be done for the evening. So Sobiak's got the lead. Duggar second. Rundle is third. Then Gross. Budzine in 5th. Brees, Fisher, Hull, Kinjerski, and Tony Brent, the 28 car now, has worked his way into the top 10 as he goes around the top side. He and Brandon Hull with contact, and Hull's going to be around.
Caution is out.
Exactly. So had a car upside down heading into 3. I don't know if that was the incident. I also saw that Colin Skinzelski, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, they looped it heading into 1 and 2 as the leaders came by.
Yeah, the 99 car backwards and then upside down there probably was the caution. That started with a little contact. He got into the right rear of Kinjerski, did Hull, and then across Brent, and a little bounce here, and you move the car there, and the next thing you know, you're upside down. So they'll keep it single file for the restart, I'm sure. Nothing bad at the front. It was stuff that was happening in the middle of the pack when guys start to fan out, and got to be a little more spatially aware. I think if we were going to talk to a couple of drivers, they'd probably be using that term. Know what's to your left, know what's to your right, and make sure that you protect those guys at all times. So we'll see. We're coming up on halfway here. Sobiak, Duggar, Rundle, Gross, and Budzine, the top 5. Then Brees, Fisher, Kinjerski, Randy Brunner, and Tony Brent, your top 10.
As they will start to get side by side with each other, going green this lap, as they will start to pull towards the front stretch, heading through 3, now 4, as Sobiak goes as the pace truck pulls, and we will be back green underway in the Pro Late models. Heading into turn 1, everybody tries to keep it clean, and it seems as if they do. So everybody has started to single file out, heading on to lap 14.
All right, man. Caution is out.
Caution again. This is going to be maybe John Brunner? I don't know. A car that was showing no speed, so let's see if anything happened here to the 46. I actually don't think it's him. I think it's going to happen in front of him, possibly. Yeah, it was J.J. Schilling. Oh, that's who I saw backwards. Let's see what happened to Schilling. He and Dean Burnt were together.
Dean Burnt just said he is out on the communications.
Oh, Schilling went in slider, got the car a little sideways. Burnt drove underneath him. Schilling was way sideways there. See if we can find that 17 car. 17 car back in the work area off the track. He joins Reidner and Skinzelewski. J.J. Schilling back in 19th right now.
Gonna hurt Schilling's definitely. He was running decently currently, and I'm getting a little push back to the back, but might be bad as we will wait as Nick Sobiak will bring them back to the front stretch, and the green flag is back out. Some guys slower on the restart, and some people will start to side by side, but everybody's going to even out headed to the back stretch.
Yep, Sobiak with a good start, going to hang on to the lead right in front of Cole Duggar. Reed Rundle sitting in third. And Andy Gross lurking right there in that 4th position. Rundle made a little mistake there too, but Gross not close enough to capitalize this time. So he'll run a completely different line through 3 and 4. And that didn't work out for him, but he shuts the door on Budzine. Budzine was following in the tire tracks of Rundle, trying to get up there to the back of the 43, maybe challenge. Good to see Gary back on the track. And he has performed very well, staying inside the top 5 for the entirety of the feature so far. Sobiak bounced it off the wall in 2. Didn't slow him down a bit. He maintains a half a second lead over second place Cole Duggar as they come in to complete lap number 17.
Hang on lap 18. Now Duggar has sort of slowly but surely closed the gap to Nick Sobiak. Heading through the corner, as you can see, he gets almost up to Sobiak's side as he's very much closed that gap about 0.2 of a second. So Duggar, finally with this longer green flag run, might have a chance as he's going to try a slider here on Sobiak. Sobiak is going to take that low, and he is going to keep the position heading into turn 2, though.
Down to 5 to go. Caution coming out. This is for something closer to the back here. Big pileup of cars. I want to say Budzine is in this one. He's right in the middle of it, it looks like.
Yeah.
Andy Gross, his car's in it. It is all torn up here. Gross is the one that started it. He got wide going into one, clipped the tires. Budzine hits him, and then cars just start coming and piling right on in there. You see Enoch, Brent, Butcher, several cars piled into that one, but it was Andy Gross. Little wide down the front stretch, turned in, laid into one, right rear, clobbers that set of implement tires right there as you'd head up off the track going to the infield. And the 14 car all but destroyed right there. And I don't know, maybe he's going to relinquish the spots and head towards the back. Looks like he is pulling over, letting cars go around. Yeah. So we'll look at the front right now, the way they're lining up. Sobiak, Duggar, Rundle, Brees, Kinjerski, then Budzine, Ryan Fisher.
All right, man. Lights are back on the pace car. We're not going green this time. We are not going green.
They're still trying to figure out.
Sort out the mess.
Yeah. So a tough break for our reigning champion, Andy Gross.
Then Tony Brent is going to be 8th. Randy Brunner in 9th. Yeah, they're sending the 14 car to the back, so that'll put Caden Carlson, the 12 car, up here in 10th. Itzkowski, Schilling, Enoch, as they all kind of come around. And Enoch, not sure where he's supposed to be either. Now backs the car up a little bit, and Enoch will fall in behind Butcher. Green flag back in the air, and that caught a lot of guys sleeping. Some of the guys in the back were not necessarily in their spots, but we are down to 5 to go. Sobiak got a good jump on Duggar, but Duggar's trying to close the gap with the slider line in 3 and 4. Down to 4 to go.
Duggar a little bit caught sleeping, and with those single file restarts, it's really down to when the guy in front of you goes, you need to be right on that line, right on that gas pedal, and Duggar just not as fast to react as much as Sobiak did, and heading now through 3 and 4. At the line will be 2 to go.
Sobiak maintaining the lead. Duggar has kept it about 3 car lengths, and they both have about 0.8 of a second on Rundle sitting in 3rd. So we're going to go through 3 and 4 and head for the white flag. 1 more lap to go. DiscountShopTowels.com. Pro late models. Oh, slide job coming. Little contact on the entry. Duggar had it there. Sobiak able to counter. Can he keep the spot going through 3 and 4? Who's going to have it at the line? Sobiak up the hill. They make a lot of contact. Sobiak's going to pick up the win. Sobiak, Duggar, and Rundle, top 3. And there may be some chatter as Sobiak came up and just slammed the door, and not the foot, but the entire personage of Cole Duggar was in that door at the time of its closing. So I'm going to talk to the guys. I'm pretty sure the 23 is going to be listed on top of the podium here. Maybe race control can clear it up a little bit for us. We'll give them the opportunity to do so as we get ready to go down here for our interviews and talk to these guys, especially about that last lap. I have it Sobiak by 1/100th of a second over Duggar. Rundle came home in third. So let's talk to Reed Rundle. He might even be able to clear up who exactly did win the race, whether it's going to be Sobiak or Duggar. Now I know both of those guys are in here.
Yeah, and I think it also might come down to potential post-race penalties and rule enforcement potentially, but I'm going to let that be handled by the race control.
Well, we'll talk to Reed about his third place finish, and then we'll see if there's any race control information that can come from him about that last lap deal there. Reed Rundle, you got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Well, man, a good run. You put that thing on the podium here to start the season off. Tell us a little bit about your feature run.
It was all right. I mean, this track slipped off, and we knew that was going to happen as far as that goes. But again, one of those things where still trying to pull everybody together and get a little bit cleaner racing. It was a good race up front. I just couldn't reel them guys in.
Yeah, it looked like that restart, the last one there, some guys at the back still were out of shape, and the guys at the front maybe didn't think there was time to go, but you kind of got caught sleeping a little and got a pretty big gap put on you. What was going on that last restart?
Yeah, we were talking about black eggs needing to be cleared, and that's one of the problems with being an admin is, trying to do all that. So it wasn't so much sleeping, it's just trying to get things sorted out so that we can try and keep some of these guys, on the laps that they need to be or cleared the black flags and stuff like that. So playing around with buttons and, unfortunately that takes the focus away.
Well, still a great run. I'm sure you got some shout-outs and some thank yous before we let you celebrate. But as soon as you finish with this, we are going to have a question for you.
Not a problem. Shout outs to Buddy's Racing Equipment as always. Good friend Pat Haney, been on the cars for a long time. Added Mueller's Sales and Service. If you need any trailers or used car stuff, go see JJ Mueller at Mueller Service. Other than that, Premier Fabricators and the normal people as far as that goes. PF Flyer race cars, thanks to the wife, that kind of stuff. And what's your question?
Well, now you got to change hats, sir. We appreciate you taking the time after the race to talk to us. But you got to get your driver's hat on or off, and you got to put your admin's hat on because we got to know, how is the finish of the race scored?
So the finish of the race will be scored as iRacing takes it. We'll look at any penalties and that kind of stuff. One of the things that we're doing this season, Scrub-A-Dub wanted to come back in, and we had already secured sponsorship for both divisions. So what better than to put up Scrub-A-Dub Clean Driver Award? So we're also going to be tracking incident points, and what that'll mean is that for each race, anybody that has 0 incidents all night, that's heats, semi, and feature, will get 5 bonus points. If you score more than six or more points, you'll lose 5 points. If you get eliminated from the event, obviously that's penalty enough, if it gets up that high. And then we're going to track the incident points, and we're going to do an average at the end of the year for the Clean Driver Award, and MKE Laser Design is going to do another nice award for that. We got those coming for the champs for last season, and we're going to be doing a lot more of those this year too.
All right, so we will follow what iRacing says and put Duggar second and Sobiak in first. We appreciate you taking the time and clearing that up for us. We look forward to seeing you next week, bud.
10-4, thank you.
Third place driver tonight, Mr. Reed Rundle. Let's move on to a second place here. Cole Duggar, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Well, it looked like at the end of that, you had a shot to steal that thing coming out of turn 4, and that gap closed up. Tell us what you saw from the driver's seat.
From the driver's seat, I kind of thought I was up against the wall and kind of got squeezed up into it. Other than that, I can't really say much else.
Well, the feature, a little bit on the messy side, but still a great run, and you kept that 11 car fairly clean, especially up until that last couple of laps there. How was it for you out there, and how tough was it to find places to pass?
I felt like the passing wasn't too hard to pass. I get a slide job line. I think I got one or two of those in before the last couple laps, and yeah, there's room out there to pass. You just gotta make sure you keep it clear, and you'll be good. I actually thought I damaged the car a little bit too much, and then I saw a guy in front of me get in the wall, so I felt like his car got damaged. I felt like we started becoming even again.
Well, a fantastic run, going to start the season off at least somewhere in the top 2 in points, so that's got to be pretty good as you get ready. You know how the season went last time. You know it was all about consistency. That's got to be a pretty good feeling knowing that you're starting off, especially at the top in points.
Yeah, second place every week will do better than a win, and fifth place every week, so hey, can't be upset with second.
All right, man, who's on the car helping you out before we let you get out of here, bud?
Brent Spates. Got to thank Team Outlaw Motorsports, LSR TV. Thank you guys for the broadcast, William Duvall, Jesse for the paint, and I'll see you guys next week. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks for chatting with us. See you next week, Cole. All right, Cole Duggar, your second place finisher. Now let's talk to our winner. Opens up the season by picking up the first night in an exciting finish there. Nick Sobiek, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, we talked to Cole Duggar. He told us what he saw from the driver's seat. Where are you at from the driver's seat on turn 4 of the last lap?
I feel really bad about that. That was his race to win. I came up a little high, got in the slick, and it's my apologies to Cole. And it was just a bad situation, and I feel pretty bad about it.
Well, it looked like you were had an advantage when you left the corner. I thought maybe you were coming up to try to shut that door a little bit, but guys going to have a run on the top side. Sometimes cars come together. It's just kind of part of racing, and as long as you guys talked it out, I bet everybody's okay with it. Tell us about the rest of the feature. You had the 23 car rolling pretty good.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good. I don't run 4-8s a lot. New car to figure out. It was a lot of fun to do, and yeah, we ran pretty good.
Well, you're going to start off the season with the first win. Is that going to propel you to maybe being a little closer in the title contention when we get down to the end?
Let's hope so. Yeah, we were close last time in the street stocks. Finished 7th in the late models last year. We're looking pretty good this season.
Well, fantastic evening. Who you got for shout-outs and thank yous, and we'll let you pop the cork on that bottle of champagne.
I want to thank my mom, my dad, my sister, Chris Johnson, Ryan Fisher, Mama Fish, everyone on the Discord, David Majerski, Jason Schilling, and EVS, Faster Motors, and VLR Chassis.
All right, Nick, congratulations on a great win, and we look forward to seeing you next week, bud.
Thank you.
You're a winner, Nick Sobiek. Duggar was second, Rundle was third, Budzine in fourth, Kinjerski fifth, Peter Brees in sixth, Ryan Fisher seventh, Tony Brent in eighth spot, J.J. Schilling comes home ninth, Randy Brunner in 10th, Caden Carlson 11th, Tony Itzkowski was 12th, Jason Enoch in 13th, 14th to Jim Butcher, Chris Johnson 15th, Andy Gross had a great run all night long, late in the going, had trouble, he ends up 16th, 17th to John Brunner, James Fletcher was 18th, 19th. To Brandon Hall, Dean Burnt in 20th. 21st was Colin Skinzalewski, and Bud Reidner finished 22nd tonight. Well, race one, a little bit of excitement, a little bit of roughing up, but still pretty good race to watch there, Zach. Your thoughts?
Honestly, it was exactly what I expected for the race. A lot of good wheel-to-wheel racing, side-to-side racing, and I think if you ask me, there's going to be a lot more of that coming with these next races this season.
Well, they started it off pretty exciting for us, and if they keep ratcheting that up, I can't wait to see what happens the rest of the season. But that is going to do it for us here tonight. Don't forget, tomorrow night, Dirt Slingers. Monday Night Thunder 360 Wing Sprint Cars from Eldora, 8 o'clock Eastern. Dominic Santino will start the coverage, and then we'll move right into the big blocks. The Tim Sims General Tires Winter Nationals, round number 4 for those guys. I will be back on the call for that. And then Tuesday, PRO. They have their big block series as they alternate back and forth between the sprint cars and the big blocks. And Dominic Santino will have the NARC SSR 410 All-Stars for you on Tuesday. But right now, I think Dominic has got Dirt Kings over on the Facebook page, so drop by, say hi to him. For myself, Zach Krieger, and Dominic Santino here at the Dirt Racing Network, we want to say, everybody, thank you for tuning in. We know you can watch anything you want to, but you choose to watch racing here. We appreciate that greatly. Till we see you the next time, keep it dirty, everybody.